Liverpool 1, Manchester City 2. Another defeat, more points dropped, and that gap to top 4 is starting to look very uncomfortable. We're 5 points off 4th, 4 points behind the 5th spot in the league, and we've taken just 7 points from 6 league games in 2026. 6 wins in the last 20 league games. That's a 30% win rate, and that's not bad luck. That definitely looks like a pattern. I mean, City's done the double over us for the first time in 89 years. That's ridiculous. And, Liverpool have now lost the match after going 1 goal up and lost the match with 10 minutes to go. That's the first time this has happened to Liverpool in Premier League history. And this is now the 4th time that Liverpool have lost the game past 90 minutes, and that is some of the joint worst statistics in Premier League history. Well, you can look at the small picture and say we were really unlucky. Or you could look at the big picture, and that is where the concern comes in. And yes, the refereeing was poor. Salah gets pulled back, and the referee issues the yellow card, which means he acknowledges the foul, but he doesn't give it the red card that should follow. And then there's also City's tactical fouls. They were given 1 when there should have been 3. Did Craig Pawson cost us the game? No, he didn't. But there were those decisions, and they did kind of go City's way. So, in a matter of speaking, he may have influenced the win, but no, he didn't cost us the game. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to give the PGMOL any more oxygen than that, because this loss was on us. Before this match, I said that we had to go at City. We had to make them uncomfortable. We had to press them and push them, stretch them, do everything to them except make them feel comfortable. And yet, City had 61% of the ball possession in that first half. They outshot us by 10-3 and 3 shots on target. And, that's the most an away team has had against the Liverpool team in the first half at Anfield since records have been kept. And that's extremely poor. And still, Liverpool go into the half-time with 0-0. And that's not because anything fantastic that Liverpool had done. That's just because City didn't punish this Liverpool team. And this is shocking. And, to have a team come at you and outperform you in the first half. And I think this is about 14 or 15 games now where Liverpool have not scored a goal during the first half at home, at Anfield. That's not a trend. This is becoming a pattern. Starting 11 lacks balance. It has all season long. Just look at what happens over here. You've got Gravenberch and McAllister sitting behind a front 4 almost, and there's just no legs, no steel, no strength. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. And then you've got Gakpo and you've got Mohamed Salah hugging the touchline, and they're not aggressive when we are pressing. They don't disrupt, the movements when we are building up. They offer very little, tracking back and winning the ball back and then building up anything. They offer very, very little there, and they make things so easy for fullbacks that they are running at. It's painful to watch. Think about this. When Salah was away at AFCON and Gakpo was out injured, the story was a lot different. Liverpool have lost 10 games across all competitions this season, and 7 of those is where Gakpo and Salah started. Now, when these two weren't there, Liverpool didn't lose a single game. Look, this is not personal. It's tactical. I'm telling you now, look at what happened in that match against City. Gakpo and Curtis Jones in particular, they looked like strangers on the field that looked like they didn't know one another. There's no passionate play. There is nothing that looks aggressive going forward. There's no quick balls. And because of that, they leave a player like Hugo Ekitike stranded up front and completely isolated, rather, up front. Very, very little went right here. Very, very painful to watch. But that imbalance there, doesn't work for me. And the result of all of this, fewer shots on target, and a few goals in certain matches in the first half. City had 7 shots on target in this game, and they scored twice. Liverpool had 5 shots on target. They scored 1 from a free kick. And that brings me to Dominic Szoboszlai. Before this match, I also lamented at the fact that we've got no right back, and I do not want to see Dominic Szoboszlai being thrown in at right back. Use Wataru Endo. He's a defensive midfielder. So if you want to have someone with a defensive mind, put him in over there, even if it is just to be in a defensive role. We might not have him moving up the pitch, but at least we've got Dominic Szoboszlai in the midfield. No, Dominic Szoboszlai gets to go and play at right back. We lose possibly one of our most on-form midfielders, someone who can actually shoot from distance and somebody who can actually bring some aggression. We lose that in a midfield against Manchester City, and we're going to throw him in at right back. And I think a lot of those decisions goes against a player like Dominic Szoboszlai. It makes it tough. He gets the red card. Number one, not because he's not good at playing at right back, but he's the last man over there in that position, and he has to do whatever he can, and he does that. This man plays his heart out for this team. He plays the heart out for everyone else there, whether it be the team, the managers, the fans. He throws himself in harm's way, gets the red card, and we're now losing for the next game. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Dominic Szoboszlai should not be playing at right back. Get an academy youngster in if needs be, but stop putting our best midfielder at right back. I don't know. The people who make these decisions get paid large chunks of money, lots of pounds flowing out of the club, being poured into these decision makers, and they are bottling decisions that I think we can actually make for free. Do not put Dominic Szoboszlai at right back. I want to touch on the mentality also of the team. So we score in the 75th minute, fantastic, and then immediately we retreat and we sit back and we don't go and try and get a second goal. No, we now try to protect this one goal that we have, and all of a sudden City sees that. It's like a shark smelling blood, and now they start coming on the attack and they start running at Liverpool. And Liverpool now, being fragile, start playing within their own half and trying to control the game from there, or not managing the entire game, just trying to manage the half. And that's absolutely poor. And what the manager then immediately should have done when he sees this mental fragility of the team is he's got to make changes right then and there. Take off those players who you see are problematic and bring on some fresh legs so that we can go and hunt for that second goal. But no, he leaves it to the 85th minute. I can never understand this. What must a player come and do in the dying moments of the game to change this around when the rest of his teammates have been failing for 85 minutes straight? He's now got to come and change this in the last 5 minutes of the game. And yes, make the argument that there was a lot of extra time awarded in this match, but that's not the point. The point is you cannot expect a player to come and do in a few minutes what the whole squad had failed to do in such a long time. The person has barely had chance to settle onto the field before the match is over. We've got to be smarter, but also we've got to be smarter on the field. We cannot, after going ahead, sit back now and allow the opposition to run onto us and attack us, and we're just going to defend for the last couple of minutes because that's what we want to do. We're too scared to go out and attack now. And then we concede in any case. This has happened many times. And if you look at what teams like Spurs and Manchester United had done to Manchester City, after scoring, they went at them again. And all of a sudden, City looks more unsettled. They look less likely to attack you now. And then they end up conceding again. The best form of defense, oftentimes, is offense. And this is something this Liverpool team needs to learn very fast. So where do we go from here? That's the worrying part. I don't see solutions. I don't see answers. I don't see adjustments. And the worrying thing is we go to Sunderland midweek and Salah and Gakpo will start again. And we're not going to get things right. We aren't. And we're going to be facing a team that has not lost a game at home. There are lots of questions that needs answering. You know, there's a lot of questions around the starting 11, around the balance of the team, around the mentality and the fragility of that mentality. There's questions around how substitutions are made, the balance of the team. And I don't see the manager answering any of them. Let me know what you think. What am I missing? Because the problems are glaring and the answers aren't. Anyway, you'll never walk alone.